Purchasing. Obviously, when we want to sell, we also need to purchase to sell products. This is all about the purchasing, so vendor information can be entered here, as well as the email address, as well as all the other relevant info. I don't have to go in detail, other tutorials have shown this before. I can set up more items in the other tutorial, sales tutorial. You will see how that's been done, but you can add more items here with all the details as lined out before. Then we have the notes and reminders, like also in sales or admin. And I'm going to put something in here just to see how it looks on the schedule later on. The first contact reference number is going to be a number field, so we can only put in numbers. And then we may want to put something in like follow-up, or there's already follow-up popping up. That's great. Notes and reminders, get a quote, and then maybe I want my quote till the 13th of this year, of this month, and it automatically puts it on the scheduler. So whenever we put something in here, we cannot forget. We can certainly unclick it if we have to. And double click here brings us to a pop-up menu, which we can use to comfortably add more info. Change the dates again. Projects works the same way like in sales or in the admin. Every project entered here is related to this one, this vendor. So it's directly linked to the vendor which shows up on the header. Letters the same way like in sales as well as in administration. Don't have to go in depth on this one either. Purchase orders, we have to look into this a little bit. Purchase orders in our system are not P&L, profit and loss, relevant. What's relevant is when we receive the orders. We figured that purchase orders and receiving orders, we want to be able to balance it out. We want to make sure that once we make financial commitments to somebody, we want to make sure we keep up with it, we balance it out, reconcile it good as a standard business operation or practice. That's why we decided to do, you have to always put in a purchase order before you can receive against it, or before you can receive anything. So let's say vendor 2 wants to put in a purchase order, or we want to put one in for vendor 2. We can choose something from a list, or we can create our own number, internal number. We may want to call it purchase order, but sometimes we want to request a quote first before we create a purchase order. Later on we can roll it over into purchase order without touching data anymore. Employee, we can choose somebody from a list, or we can create another one. Order date, today's date as suggested value, and then maybe the date required is the 13th. This is here for internal use only. Description or reason. Then you have a ship date. Maybe you want to put this in there. The ship method, FedEx, UPS, containers. Ship to address. If we don't have one, and we can create one, or we can choose from a list. In sales we had created one. Let's use the one we had already created before. If you choose something else and it doesn't find in the list, it will open up the list and you can create a new and additional ship to address and choose from that list. Right now let's choose the one we have. Discounts, we want to have this as a discount. Taxes, we want to make a note of that. Payment terms, we have also set up one in the sales tutorial, so don't have to explain this again. Delivery terms, we can choose from a list we have created, or we create another one. And we can put it on the scheduler if you like. And let's go ahead and enter some data. This reminds us that we have changed some data here, and we want to make sure that we got to be extra reminded, because really once we want to make commitments, we want to be really picky about what's going to be in there. We want to be extra cautious. Any purchase, company, products, or by reference number. These are three options which can be chosen in combination, or you can just use one and start from it. This is my new product. Let's say I want to give it a reference number. It can be anything really what the vendor gives you. The description, you can make up one for your new product. I should write slower. We get it in pieces. We order maybe 200 pieces. The value is maybe 10. We get a discount. See, it puts it already in there. That's nice. From here as a suggested default value for every line item here, so we don't have to do it. Especially nice when you have to enter 20, 30, 40 products. And then you can do some comments. Make sure it does not break or something like that. Date promised, you can enter it in here. Again, you may have different dates per line item. The program decides to put this account in here, which is a cost of goods sold account, which then will be automatically accounted for inventory purposes and will be appearing later on in the P&Ls. So you may want to choose already here the right account. Cost of goods sold will be accountable for in your P&L. And then you can get it approved by somebody else as yourself. You can put more categories in if you like. And then you can also create a product here. Let me go back in here. Let me see if this is also a double click, and it will bring us to a pop-up form where we can actually put more information in here for better for better views. This pop-up. Cool. Put it in here. Company product, we can choose from a list which we may have already created, or we can create a new one. Double click, make a new one, which opens basically the same as we have seen in here, set up new items. And then you can did I choose one? No, not yet. Let me choose this from the list. Let me give it also another reference number from this vendor. And I want to put pieces in there or units. I can leave a blank. Quantity ordered 200. I can give it a value. I can overwrite the discount, use the discount which is in there, accept the taxes, put some comments in there. And then when it's been promised, let's say on the 13th, I will keep the cost of goods sold account. I've been doing very well with that. My reference, I can also choose from an inventory listing we have created and built in the past, and I've shown this before. Sorry, this was the wrong one to click. I've shown this before, how to build the inventories in the inventory search form. Don't have to go in detail, but from here, from this list, we can choose and make use of existing information. And since I chose 1495, I also want to choose here 1495. Hold on. And it imports information from that list. Also the description from 1495 I want to use. 1495, where is it? Here it is. And it puts in the description from 1495. Let's put a piece. Let's give it a number. I give it a value. And discount has already been suggested. Again, from here. Taxes does not suggest it. Comments. And then promise was maybe the same date. And again for approval purposes. Now I can see how it looks like. And we've called it request for quote. I'll make it bigger. Here's nothing because we actually in the admin, I've been lazy and I didn't put any vendor any information in here. So I'm sorry, this is from the test vendor. Okay, the test vendor, we didn't put any test vendor information, so it doesn't pop up here. The ship to address there, and here it's empty because we didn't put up anything here. If we fill this form with live, it will appear in here. I can illustrate that real quick also. Let's call it my great purchase company, and let's see if it already accepts it. Where's my purchase tool? There. I hope it does. Not yet. I would have to update the system for that. I hope this is enough. Maybe I need to do it here too. And refresh this, and I can go anywhere in this field. I'll leave these mistakes in there because that may occur with everybody, and then I hope it eats it now. If not, then it will next time when I close and open it. In generally, you will have the information either here in your customer or you have it in your preferences. And here in your preferences, you can actually put in my great company, and it should take it at least from here. And if I do Roger and I do test here, and let's say a street address also, purchase street, and purchase city, state, zip. Let's see what it does. Actually, this may be the way of doing it anyways. See, now you can see I'm not perfect. Leaves me some room for improvement. And nice, it took it from my preferences. Purchase street, purchase city, state, and so on and so forth. Okay, all the information in here, and it sums it up right there. Nice. Obviously, we can also save it into a file in any of these versions. Choose PDF is the best version to choose from, and then you can save it on your system. You can actually also email it. Choose the PDF. It'll go into your default email program. You must put a default program first when you set up your computer, and then send the email. Let's have a look at that, how it looks like here again. Nice, I put my great company in here, and the values are there. Awesome. We can also print it. I'm not going to do this. Everybody knows how that works. And here's some explanation about the form, how you can handle the form. Take your time to read this. Always encouraged to check on these question marks. Here's another question mark. And what does it say? There's a hook actually. Hook means double click on the associated field, and voila, it opens up my request for quote. If I want to roll it over in a purchase order, customer likes it, I like the quote, we'll roll it over. Let's see. Okay, we'll save it. We'll notify it that data has been changed, and in the letterhead we'll see purchase order. If we don't like the word purchase order, we may change that in preferences and change it over to, let's say, maybe some people want to call it requisition. And we'll save it. Yes. And then we're going to save the data here as well. And hopefully it already took it. And there it is. Requisition. Awesome. Took it. So that's how we can customize this header. Some people like it like that. So that's so far for the purchasing. I have also put it on the scheduler, so next time I can be reminded on the scheduler. And in the receiving part is we can only receive what we have purchased before. I mentioned that earlier. We want to make sure we want to balance this out. Let's have a look. 66,780. My vendor gives me an invoice for 70,000. And let's put in the information from my vendor. My PO number was 2. He sends me the information and I'm going to reconcile it with PO number 2. Receiving notes are only for internal use. I need to put in the bill ID for my vendor. Obviously they sent me something, I want to be using his bill information, and he may have sent it on the 13th, and voila, we get your billing date is normally not from the future, a funny comment from the computer. So we need to change this, maybe to, they shouldn't give me a bill from the future. How do they know it? Okay, then I can put the guy who enters the information in here. I can actually also scan their bill and find it in my computer, link to it. Let's go to my tutorial path. Link to it. Maybe they have sent me this. This is really not, this is a sales order I've created in another tutorial before. So let that be our bill from our vendor. And actually from here I can open it up too if I needed to. But now this shipment, I can link it and can quickly find it back. Got to be connected to that link now. If you have scanned and pasted, copied and pasted that document on another server, then you need to be connected to the server to be able to look into this information. You can also attach pictures and other things if you have a claim. Okay, we're gonna choose these payment terms for now. And now we want to enter the data. It suggests the data which I have been purchasing before. At this point of time, everything went smooth, and we are using the information. Okay, I'm sorry, it's been, we need to put something, quantity ordered. So let's say 200 had been ordered, we are receiving 200, and the value has been 10. We accept that value. They have billed us for the same value. Discounts, let's say, was 10%, and taxes, maybe I have taxes 10%, and the value is popping up there. And now it starts building up as soon as I book it by clicking here, and it will book it there. I have here another option to put receiving notes. Something went wrong with this item in the box, or something. Put in a claim if you have to, and then you can add another one. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put another one here. I want to take the information the computer right now suggests, so hopefully it balances it out. Quantity I've received, I'm going to receive, let's say 10. Maybe I didn't order 10. The value, oh, quantity were originally ordered 200, so let's do that too. Value is 100, and I'm put in 200 so that we get hopefully the balance information. I just assume on the bill it says 200 right now. Discounts. Did we order anything with discounts? Yes, 10%. And that is. Okay. Now, total value and any information I want to receive it against. With I keep this cost of goods sold account. This is a typical inventory item account. This will help me later on to track inventory, what's been sold and been brought in. And let me do it quickly also for the third item. I'm gonna assume right now the bill shows the same information. What did we order here? I want to say, doesn't it say? Ah, too bad. Okay, let's say we have ordered one. Oh, quantity received is 1. There you go. And let's see, did we have a value? No values here. I'll put one value in here. We'll probably get a discrepancy, which is not that bad than if we happen to do. We just have to balance it out and see what happens. Okay, we have an open balance of 50,000, so something went wrong. What we can do is we can go line by line and compare. My purchase was 200, then 10, 10, 10. If I match this up, if my bill would reflect 210, 10, 10, then I get the same values. My says in my company products I had 200, 110, and 10, 19.8, 200, 10, and 10, 19.880. So this was actually 0 tax. Did I make a mistake? Oh, I didn't click this. Shoot, made a mistake. Okay. Alright, we got here 1800. Did we have that too? 1800? Nope. We had 1980, and I accidentally made this wrong here. Okay, now it's correct again. And here we had 18,000, and that item here was 19,800, and it's because we have a tax value in here. Okay, and now in the reference numbers we had here, 9 is probably wrong. Let me look here too. And we had 45,000, so we had a 1 and 50,000 and then 10. Let's match it up. 1, 50,000 and 10. 1, 50,000 and 10. Okay, now we still have a balance, so we can now match it up. Maybe I had also some taxes in here. No, 45,000 here. 45,000. We had 19.8. And I'm doing this now because I really want to match this up. That's my little mistake here. Now I have 19.8. The balance getting better by the minute. And here I have 19.8. And here I have 19.8. And it really should all match up. And it should match up. But it doesn't match up. We are off 3,220. And the reason is because my billing amount was $70,000. So they have billed us wrong. Because I've been able to match these two. And if they had billed us for 66,780, it would have been right. 66,780, and it should balance out. 0. There it is. That's how you reconcile this, and we figured this is very important to do this. Now I'll show you another thing which is very important to reconcile, because next time this customer says, my vendor says, I want to bill you again for something, and then I'm looking, okay, which PO then? Well, against your PO number 2. PO number 2, okay, and then we can see and compare if we have really anything with an open balance. So we're going to look at the bill number 2, or the purchase order number 2, which is supposedly on that bill, and see if we can find this. But since we have balanced it out, it won't show up anymore. So the system is set up to reconcile, and then if it's done, it will not pop up anymore, so you cannot choose again the same PO number for it. Now if you had made a mistake or there were a discrepancy and they didn't deliver enough, in this case we had a quantity of 200, and let's say they had delivered only 100, then obviously my PO needs to be still pending, because we have a discrepancy of at least the value 990. So next time if he comes up with a bill, then it will pop up here. I need to refresh this a little bit. It will pop up here and allows me to make use of the same PO number again, and then I can balance it out this way. So it's really a great tool to reconcile with something we are liable for. And then in the reports form, I'm sorry, I have here something unworked off. I'm gonna X out here for now. In our reports we can see what we have been receiving. For example, let's go to the inventory, and there it shows there are my inventory items. Here's more information again about this, so I'm not going to read this to you. And then you can scroll from line item to line item. In the reports also, in the P&L summary, and let me go and move this in, here's what we've just entered. And we can see what else is there in detail. So a great way of finding the information back with shortcuts. I guess this is all about what's worth telling about this form. At this point of time, everything else has to be played around with, I would say. Here you have the POs listings from this particular vendor you can go for and choose and go directly to. And then you can work. Here's that PDF file we saved. And we think this is a great tool to reconcile all the information.